Welcome to the RD Squeeze. I'm Micki.
And I'm Emily.
And we're two dietitian besties here to squeeze out the misinformation around health and nutrition.
Hey everyone, welcome to the RD Squeeze here with Micki and Emily. Today we're on episode 25, talking about some health hustlers, spilling the tea on MLMs and a little bit on pyramid schemes. So we're going to get right into it. What is MLM, Micki?
All right. Yeah. So today's going to be an interesting one because Emily, you said you have no concept of this. And I was like, this sounds fun to me, but I don't know. I didn't know too much about it either. So this is both kind of like a learning episode, but I'm overtaking this one a little bit. So MLM stands for multi-level marketing companies, basically. So we're going to talk about MLMs, and we're going to talk a little bit, like you said, about pyramid schemes, because they do kind of have a little bit to play in this, not a ton. But the reason why this came up, I've actually kind of been noticing them kind of reviving a little bit more often, and they're kind of actually popping up in my social media feeds and things like that. So I was like, I want to cover this. I want to touch on it. So yeah, so I'll just get right into it, I guess. And then Emily, if you have questions and everything.
And I'm sure once you start explaining it, I can be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I'm sure I know. Didn't know there was a term for it. As dietitians, we're not marketers. We didn't go to school for business. We didn't go to school for marketing. Unfortunately, that's a huge part of our job. If you're especially in the private sector and working on your own in private practice, huge part.
Well, yeah, and you said we're not really marketers, and we do take, believe it or not, we take a lot of random classes, and I know that there is, some marketing, thrown in there, but I think the biggest thing that it comes down to for, dietitians and wellness is there's a lot of these companies that are popping up that are specifically wellness-based, and I will mention a couple, by name. I'm not afraid to do that, but, I just wanted to kind of bring attention to people might think that these are fine to do, and there's not anything wrong with using products that, are associated with them. It's just kind of being aware of what a multi-level marketing company is. There is a little bit of, downsides to them, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, there's kind of pros and cons, I guess. To me, they're mostly cons. And just kind of how to be wary before getting involved in these kind of companies.
Yeah.
So right now, we'll first talk about for our squeeze, I guess, is multi-level marketing companies are basically an individual, not an individual, a business model where individuals will sell specific products, and then they also recruit other people to join their management team. So I think back in the 2000s, you would see a lot of hey boss babe, join my team for X, Y, and Z or something like that. And then they get commission based on what products they sell and then who is recruited onto their team.
Okay.
So you're selling goods or services based off of a company's system. So there's a big box company essentially sending this to people, and they kind of are their individual own sales reps. So you really have to have a heavy sales tactic to do this. Now,
so
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Can we kind of compare this to, maybe before we dive deeper, a pharmaceutical company who has a pharmaceutical rep?
You could, yeah. I think there is a lot of, and maybe one day we can even talk about this separately, because I know we have a pharmacist dietitian that we want to have on eventually. But yeah, that could kind of be seen like that. Big pharma could technically be seen as an MLM if you really want to think about it, because you have these drugs that are technically goods, and then you basically have these reps that go to doctors to sell and partner on their team, and then they sell the drug in prescriptions to their patients. And I think I'm not 100% sure, and maybe that's why we would have to have a pharmacist on here, but like, or a farm rep or something. But like, I've watched enough documentaries to know that like those weren't always the most ethical things, because that's how we got the opioid crisis. And again, that's a whole nother topic. But like, to get more people to sell, they would push the doctors to prescribe only opioids, and that's how people got addicted to opioids, because that's the main painkiller that everybody was prescribing back in the day. So I'm not comparing it solely to this. I mean, none of this is like illicit drugs or anything. It's just like a lot of these things are not, especially with the health and wellness stuff, they're not regulated by the government or anything like that. So they're more so just kind of whatever. Um, but so a lot of times, and this is where I kind of also learned a little bit in doing my research for this, was there's also a term called pyramid schemes, where I think people use MLMs and pyramid schemes interchangeably, and they're actually not the same, because MLMs are still legal. Pyramid schemes have not been legal since 1979 in the United States. So basically, the pyramid scheme is where you are solely making most of your money by the recruitment of participants and the recruitment of additional sellers. So, like, you're paying a participant to recruit to more participants. So, the more participants you get or recruits that you get, the more money you make, rather than the more product that you sell. So,
Ah,
MLMs focus more so on the product selling, and there is a recruitment tactic, but nobody really gets more money based off of recruitment. I think there's like, and again, I don't know the legalities of it, but there is probably some sort of perk if you get more recruits, but it's not necessarily maybe part of your income. So maybe you get a free trip, or you get a free product or something like that. If you host this many parties, which we'll talk about in a second, if you do like these certain things, um, you make more money. Whereas a pyramid scheme solely based on how many recruits that you get. Um,
okay.
so a couple of the companies that are technically multi-level marketing companies are that are specifically wellness are Herbalife, Arbonne, Beachbody, um, Amway, Young Living, Optavia, and Medifast, and Advocare. I think those are the most like common ones I've seen in the
Okay.
wellness community. Now,
Yeah, okay, so now it makes sense. Again, knowing exactly what you're talking about now. Okay, yeah, you keep getting people to sell the product, they sell the product, you maybe get the goods, and you just keep building your product base from the people who want to sell it for you.
yeah, and I mean, again, I'm kind of jumping the gun here, but there's reasons why these do work in some ways. And work I use loosely, because they get people involved and they get people into it without being like super like nefarious about it. They're just like, oh, come join this party or whatever. But it can get a little more taxing after a while. So like, I have some other MLMs that I've also either went to parties for, am familiar with, have been recruited for. Um, so like Avon, Mary Kay. Avon is probably like the number one, because they have been around since I think like the 1800s. Like, you think of movies like they're like, oh, the Avon lady, and that was like door to door sales. But then you have like I said, you'd have a lady that won a pink Cadillac because she sold the most lipstick or something. Like,
Yeah,
that was
that's Mary Kay.
yeah, or Mary Kay, the Mary Kay lady, right? Exactly. And then some that like we actually, I mean, Emily, we've done these before, like Pampered
Yep.
Chef, Scentsy. I have Scentsy's in my my office. Like, there's Lime Life by Al Cohn. That's a makeup company. Tupperware.
Norwex. I did a Norwex party.
Yep,
Tupperware.
Norwex.
Yes. Oh my god, I love Tupperware.
That's Norwex is a cleaning supplies, and the products are good. Like, none of these products are necessarily bad. It's just they do focus on a multi-level marketing business model. Another one that I've been asked to do, and this one's a little more like intimate, but it's Pure Romance. Like, that's another one, and that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
lubricants and other fun things. Like, so And here's the thing. I wanted you to kind of, I'm going to ask you this question because it's on my notes, but like, what do these all have in common, Emily, if you looked at those specifically? We've got
Well,
makeup, we've got cooking supplies, we've got cleaning supplies, we've got
I mean,
um,
everyone needs them. Everyone needs these things, right?
everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. No, not everyone.
It's mostly women,
Entire question.
like women-based products, right? Like typical female marketed
Yeah.
uh like products, right? So like makeup, like, and I'm not saying men can't use these either, but who's most likely to use these? Women, right?
Who's having the parties? The women. The
Right.
women are having the parties. Yeah.
Right. So like, and that's where I'm going to get into like how these companies target women specifically for these things. And again, I'm not saying support or not support them. I'm not someone that's going to support them all the time now that I know what I know, and people can make their own decisions on that. But like I do, like I remember for the longest time I had a friend who was getting this one supplement from Arbonne, and it was like a drink mix that was supposed to help with collagen. And at the time I was looking for something for my joints, and I decided to like order it from her a couple times, not really realizing, what it was. I've went to your Pampered Chef party before, like, and I like the stuff I get from Pampered Chef. I have a brownie pan that I love. It's great. Like there are like good things about these. Like the products aren't bad. It's just like what is behind all of it. But the biggest thing for multi-level marketing companies is people typically don't make any money um historically with these companies. You really have to make it like your full-time job to do this and to make money. And you really have to be able to have a wide network and a wide net of people to also recruit, because the only way you're going to move up is if you get more recruits. So, and I know that sounds like a pyramid scheme, and that's why I want to be tread lightly. It's not necessarily about the recruits, but that is how you do make more money, is because then they sell your product.
It's still based on product, not the person.
Right. So even like if you like look at the math essentially, if you recruit 5 people and there's 13 levels of marketing, you're eventually going to run out of people to market to, right? Like it's gonna run out eventually. Like there's an episode of Schitt's Creek, and I don't know if Emily, you've ever seen this show, but there is one like they make up one. It's called Allez-vous Cosmetics, and basically everybody in the town is an Allez-vous representative. So they have no one to sell to, and they give up because everybody's a recruit now. So everybody's trying to sell product to get to a manager role or a director role or whatever. But eventually it's just incestuous. Like you just have nobody else to sell to unless you decide to pick up and move, or I mean, nowadays you can cast maybe a wider net through social media, but overall, eventually you run out of people to sell to. So that's kind of the biggest, thing behind multi-level marketing is you really can't make money because eventually you're going to run out of people to sell to. And also, how many people need a brownie pan, right? Like there's going to be things that people don't need unless you really get them involved in products that do run out. So maybe that's why beauty products like Avon and Mary Kay have been more successful, because eventually you do run out of those things. But regardless, that's why we're getting into health and wellness, because those supplements you also run out of eventually. So I guess with that, like the biggest thing is multi-level marketing it is a legit business model, and other businesses can adopt this model. And it's more product based, whereas the pyramid schemes are actually not really about product at all. It's more so like recruiting, and then like very high pressure, like high stakes situations. And I've seen comparisons to like Ponzi schemes. So if you've seen like the Wolf of Wall Street, where that's like the stock market and getting like these people to buy stocks, and there's really nothing to be involved, but they have to act now or it's going to go away or whatever. Like those are those high stakes times where people need to act, and then or they're going to miss out or something. So then they make these decisions. So, and a lot of times too, both of these do require you to put money up front, which is another big thing. So a lot of the products that you have to demonstrate, or if you want to show off. So like for, your Pampered Chef, you would have to buy the product first, show it in a cooking demo, and then hopefully people buy it. Same thing with makeup. You'll have a makeup party because you get to demonstrate the product. But unfortunately, you don't get those products really for free necessarily. You do have to purchase them. So you're usually putting money out front.
But they
And we'll
scheme you into it like, well, if you, show these things and everyone buys one of each thing, then you're going to make your money right there.
Right, exactly. And we're going to lead into that for the health and wellness thing in a little bit. So I'm kind of setting it up for why this is pertinent to us now. So I don't want to get into too much of like the legalities or anything, but just knowing that none of this is really regulated. They're run by business, but like there's really nobody to like answer to for these, especially if they're selling some sort of product that can be consumed or topical or things like that. So with that said, my next thing is, who do they target? So we've kind of already brought it to, they usually target women. And that's because, think about back in the day, women were potentially stay-at-home parents. And so now they can be targeting any stay-at-home parent. They target people that need a flexible work-life balance, or people that maybe don't have like a stable rooted area that they live in. So a lot of times these are military spouses because they have to pick up and move. So these are kind of the people that are targeted most. But then it's also people who are sometimes seeking more financial independence or ways to make more money, or side hustles, if you will. So who are those people? Usually lower income people. And then they're also focusing maybe more on minorities or people of color, because those people are typically on the lower income spectrum based off of, statistics and where people live. Now, the next thing too is like people who have very large social networks. So that's not necessarily like a woman based or a income based or a minority based thing. That can be anybody on social media, anybody who has a lot of friends. So if you have like over 1,000 friends on Facebook or something, you might be a perfect target for somebody to start recruiting. So those are the people that are looking for flexible income or flexible work-life balance, things that they can do on the weekends or at night because they're working full-time jobs, or, they have children to take care of during the day or whatever. So then those are the people that are usually marketed to do these types of products. So the thing is, though, people, again, it's usually more of a full-time job because you have to spend the time recruiting, marketing, building a social network. If you don't have it, you have to buy product. So you have to have some sort of money up front. And maybe for stay-at-home moms back in the day, they had some more disposable income because their husbands could work and survive on one income. But nowadays, in like the world that we're living in now, that's not normally the case. Usually we have to live in a 2-income household. So that's kind of where they're preying on. But the other thing too that I want people to, I guess, take away from this is that social connection piece, because they also could be targeting people who actually don't have a social network to build a social network. So
oh man, that's hard.
yeah, so it's like the lonely people, the disabled people, the people that maybe are a little bit more shut in, or are shy.
Retired people.
Yeah, right. So like those are the other people that they might target. So it's like kind of like opposite ends of the spectrum. Like they might be targeting somebody who has a wealth of people that they know. So like, for example, I would be a perfect target, and I've actually been targeted multiple times by multiple different products, specifically Pampered Chef. They were like, "Oh, you would be great at this," and I'm like, I would, but I'm not going to do it." Uh, but like, I have a large network of people that I could market to because I have multiple. I'm not saying like I'm a social media influencer, but I have a variety of people in my life. But like you said, if someone's looking for ways to make connections, they can start a Facebook group and then start adding women. And then once they recruit to those women, then they add more. And so, like, it can become almost like this family unit of people supporting each other. And that's where like the girl boss or the boss babe language comes in, because you're trying to support each other, women supporting women, but you're actually kind of setting yourselves all up to fail because nobody really makes money with these. It's actually like 99% of people who join an MLM don't make any money, and they usually end up quitting very shortly after. So there's really no benefit to doing this, unless you can find a sustainable way to continuously add people to the network.
I was just gonna say, it doesn't sound sustainable. Like, it always sounds like a great idea. Like, yeah, sure, I could make some extra side money, sell Tupperware, no problem. But like you said, you have to still put the effort in. Like, it's not gonna just be super easy. Yeah, your first few parties or your first few, sales are gonna be easier, but it's going to get harder, and a lot of people burn out from that. And so we'll kind of guide that into our health and wellness journeys as well. And also, it's timely and it's costly then too. You're maybe buying new products because, like you said, maybe it is the makeup or it's the supplements and you're using them, and then you have to buy more.
Yeah, that product's not getting provided to you for free. Like other companies will do that. They will give you, and we see that with social media, like they will comp you a product to promote it on social media, which could be
Mm-hmm.
another reason why these are not as prevalent as I think they used to be. If I'm wrong, I'm not sure. I don't see it as often, but I remember in like, I don't know about you, Emily, but in college, like all of my friends were doing, there was like a nail one. I think that Jamberry, that's what, like, it was like a nail
Oh, yeah.
sticker, like, and
Yep.
everybody had Jamberry parties and everybody had these
Mhm.
makeup parties, like
Yes.
they were on Facebook. So like you were constantly getting notifications of like, oh, join my party, join this. People get sick of that eventually. Like they don't want to be notified every 5 seconds of like a poll or like a question, or and then they have to keep engaging people. So I think now, because like TikTok, Instagram has taken off again, that kind of has subsided a little bit. So then how do you recruit more people? I
Yeah.
remember, and I didn't watch this documentary yet, but I would like to. It was about like LuLaRoe, the legging company, and I heard like that was essentially a pyramid scheme, and I think it was dissolved
Okay.
because it was a
Yeah.
pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
But I remember like people were having like fashion shows, or they would like pop up like I used to work at a restaurant. They
Yep.
would have pop-ups at at the restaurant I worked at, and like just pull racks of clothing, and women would just look at them and buy them. And like, you have to get creative. You have to be able to, you know, sell it somehow, and they don't have storefronts to do that yet. And that's how they would sell it. So yeah, that's basically how things, you have to get creative.
And that's a really good point about like the sharing on social media and like the polls and stuff. I mean, I remember when I had a couple of my parties and I was like, I really don't like doing this, but please share, please share. Like, I didn't care what I got from it, but you had the person that was hosting the party, not the host, but hosting it as the business person. On you, share this, share that. And again, it's not a bad thing, but like, I'm not a pusher. If you don't want to buy it, you don't want to buy it. I don't care.
Yeah, like I feel bad. Like I was doing the Dancing with the Stars, and I felt bad asking for donations for a really good cause, let alone people to just spend their discretionary income on something that may or may not work 5 years down the line. Like, I don't know. Like I'm the same way. Like I feel guilty like asking people to buy stuff, and then it's like, hey, if you want to support me, and it's like, I don't know. It feels very guilt trippy, and I don't want people to. You don't want to lose friends that way either. I mean, that's the last thing I want to do is like offend anybody. So, yeah. So that's kind of like you get burnt out, like you said. You're not sure, um, where to go after a while. And like, you don't want to, ruin any relationships trying to get that free
Right.
lipstick or free whatever. But so now this is kind of bringing me to why I wanted to cover this topic. And I will probably ruffle some feathers, but I'm trying to bring the misinformation out. And this is a topic that I don't think people really look into, especially dietitians. Um, so a while back, I am a huge, like, I love smoothies and I love fresh pressed juices. Like I do, like that is like one of my favorite things to treat myself to. Like I don't do it all the time, but I do love a smoothie that I don't make. Like I just love. And I was on social media one day and I saw somebody post in their story. This was a few years ago. It wasn't recent, but they had posted like, oh, this new place opened up, and they posted like a smoothie and they had like a sticker, and I was like, oh, that looks awesome. Oh, and it's nearby. Perfect. So I look at the page and there's not a lot of posts up yet because it was a new place. I was like, okay, well, I'll follow them, and if I ever get a chance to try it, I will. And I start seeing their account and I start seeing like almost like, oh, try a protein smoothie, and then it wouldn't really say what was in it. It would just say like, oh, natural energy and full of vitamins and protein and collagen, and give yourself an extra boost of energy, and all like these markety like buzzy words and stuff. And I was like, okay. Then I started them seeing like post like protein donuts. So I'm like, wait a minute, what's that doing in a juice shop? Like, that's weird. And progressively, I look into this and I realize that this place is not actually like a smoothie bar or a juice bar. It is a, a place that is called a smoothie bar or a nutrition bar. And it's basically Herbalife supplements being sold in these products for people to try, and then they basically can sell the supplements to people as well. So you'd see like these health teas. So it's like natural boost of energy, has aloe vera in it, and like just random ingredients, but like it never said any like actual fruit or juice in it. Like it never said made with pineapple and banana or anything like that. Like it always just said like, what benefits it gave you. Well, then you look into their menus and there's also no ingredients on the menus, and it's literally just the supplement in water or in like a smoothie base maybe, and there might be some sort of ingredients put into it. And again, I don't know how they get away with donuts and waffles and stuff like that, but yeah, they're basically putting these supplements in these things and they're like selling them, but also trying to recruit people. Kind of, not good. But then also um the supplement selling. So, hey, you can make this at home if you want, and then you can sell them these individual packets of a supplement or something. So that's kind of why I wanted to cover this, because I almost fell right into it. I was like, oh, this looks like a fun little cafe kind of area. Like I would love to go there, get a smoothie, maybe hang out. And here's the thing, that you go in there and they're not even really like a cafe. Like it's literally just a storefront, because they're not like a food based, a lot of these places are retail spaces that they're renting out. Like it, and they're usually like kind of yeah, like it's just not like a legit cafe, if you will. And so that made me look into kind of like, well, how are they preparing the food? And I don't think there's any regulations. There's no regulations on the supplements, right? So, they're not regulated by FDA. None of these claims are supported by evidence. Again, no supplement is, you can take collagen, you can take whatever you want, but none of that is regulated. But then also, like, the ingredient lists on these supplements are not super well drafted. They're not very well detailed. So you really don't know what's in them. And then people are making the food, but I don't think they go through any like these people aren't chefs. They're not safe certified. They're just like a mom and pop who, you know, got sucked into an MLM and now they're making food because they got to sell supplements. Like there's no regulation behind that. And I don't know, again, if there's like food inspectors that go and check things out. Like, I don't know how that works.
Right. We'll have to look into that and follow up on our next episode, maybe, or a little post.
Yeah, but like, so for me, but it's not like a specific business. Now, some of them are getting more website based. So they will have a Facebook page and they will probably primarily market on Facebook, and then their websites are usually very bare bones. But you'll see them a lot of times be called either nutrition clubs or smoothie clubs or something like that. And I said to Emily, the ones that I've seen pop up usually have nutrition in the name. So it'll be like grow nutrition or sparkly nutrition, like something like that. Like, it's not like a smoothie. It's not like sunshine smoothie bar. Like, it doesn't say that. It usually is just kind of very vague.
And I'm wondering if that's how they get around it. Maybe. I'm not sure.
That's what I'm guessing. And the thing is, like, again, I don't want to support the business, so I haven't gone into them, but a lot of them are just, like you said, powders. They're just mixed with water or milk or whatever. And they're always going to say, like, it boosts their metabolism, or it focuses on like concentration or energy support or something like that. But there's really no evidence behind any of the ingredients that they're using. And it's probably, again, just like a powder. So that's like kind of deceiving in a way, because you're like, oh, I'm going to go into this shop and get like a fresh, smoothie or something, and it's just powder and milk or something. Like, it's not even anything substantial. But then there's usually, like, again, they're just these little places that have like little signs, or like there's not like this huge, I don't know, marketing push for, like, again, it to say what it is, because it's just enough to pull you in and get you there and think that it's something that's going to be healthy, and then
Right.
it's a scheme. But the other problem is too, Emily, they're hiring nutrition health coaches that they call like bartenders, essentially, and they can also give you a meal plan, or they'll give you specific prescription-y type supplements to help you with whatever concerns you have. So not only are they then selling you, getting you in with this fancy looking smoothie, but then they're like, oh, I can show you how to get a high protein breakfast, just use this powder, or just use this. And then they're selling you all these things to do at home. So again, it's just that marketing that we were talking about. Like, how can they get creative to get people in the door? And again, then they recruit more people to do it. So I don't know. It's just wild to me. I found this super fascinating. It's just wild to me. I don't know.
I think the benefit, not really a benefit, but what you hope they're not doing as a health coach, you're supposed to be there to guide and to kind of use motivational interviewing in a way. But you're not supposed to dive into the scope of practice of medical nutrition therapy. So when the general population hears these buzzwords, I love that term, buzzword, and I always forget about it. When they hear these buzzwords, marketing terms, like they're reeled in. But what you don't know then as a health coach, as someone just selling these products who has no nutrition science background, as far as maybe a master's degree, your RDN credential, you don't know what else is going on with them. And even if you do, that's where scope of practice comes in. That's where licensure credentialing come in. You wouldn't just go to, now we do see a lot of people go to some of these quote unquote doctors who are holistic. Now, some of them are actual medical doctors, but some of these other practitioners are not. So they're really not a practitioner. They're calling themselves that. and you're getting advice from them, and you're using all of these, like, kind of what we're talking about here, herbs and supplements that have no evidence behind them at this point, or in conjunction with, maybe you're on a blood pressure med, maybe you're on a cholesterol med, maybe you're on thyroid meds, things like that. Like, they're, yes, they might be looking at all of that, and they might pull you off of it. And, to each their own then, but that's why we're here, to try and guide you with some of the misinformation, and understanding that it is important for your health and safety that you go and see appropriate credentialed practitioners. So if there's like a health coach that's kind of saying, oh, well, for your diabetes, you could start and do X, Y, and Z and make sure you have your protein. That's scope creeping. You're now coming into a dietitian's realm. We even see it, unfortunately, in our own work day to day, where maybe some other professions try and scope creep and try and talk that. It's okay to guide, like, hey, I think that sounds like you might need to work on some things like protein, but you need to go talk to a dietitian specifically, so they can make sure they're telling you exactly how much you need, exactly the amounts, the timing, things like that. And assess further, because maybe that's not even what it is. Maybe it's something completely different, like hydration, or you're swollen because you're not getting anti-inflammatory foods. Like, there's so many things that could be going on that a dietitian, a registered dietitian, licensed dietitian, depending on what state you're in, should be able to assess you for. So if a health coach is kind of creeping over that, that's when there's error. But in this sense, if they're just there to be like, hey, we're promoting eating nourishing foods, and here's a way to do that, I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to then these companies and what they're trying to do, that crosses the line sometimes.
Well, and like you said, I don't care if you want to spend $12 on a smoothie that has protein in it. Like, I don't care. Like, that's not the issue. The issue I have is the lack of transparency behind it a little bit. And then, like you said, it's mostly just a supplement. It's not real food in a way. Like, it's food, but like, it's consumed with the thought that it's food, but it is a supplement. And I mean, every supplement will say, please tell your doctor what supplement you're taking, because it can interact with medications. So if you're just walking in thinking you're getting a protein shake and it's got, all these other benefits added to it, or like maybe you just think it's like those lotus teas that you can get. Like, you think that's what that is, but it's actually a supplement that you're taking that can have effects on any medications you're taking. It can have interactions. You might not even know what exactly is in it. Like, maybe you're really sensitive to caffeine, and there is caffeine in it, and you're not looking into that because it's labeled as something else. I don't know. Like, I haven't purchased any of these products, but what I'm saying is, just be mindful. If you see a place like this and you are going to purchase something, ask questions, be diligent, and don't just go in blindly, especially if you do have like a sensitive medical condition. If you're just trying to get more protein in your body, I don't care. Go spend your money where you want, if that's where you want to spend your money. I would rather support a local business that may be a little bit smaller and that focuses on real food versus a supplement. But that's just my personal take on it. So, but if that's convenient for you to go there, it's like, oh, close by, whatever, you do you. I don't care. The thing I just want people to realize is, like I said, I almost fell right into it. I was like, oh, this sounds really, really cool. And I'm like, oh, this is not what I thought it was at all. Like, this is something completely different. And it's being marketed as, like I said, a healthy cafe, essentially. And it was not that at all. And I just don't want people to get sucked in the way that I did. I almost did, because I think that's deceiving. And you have every right to be informed of what you're putting in your body. I mean, we all, say that, you want to know what ingredients you're consuming. You want to know. So if you're consuming a supplement, you should do your due diligence and research that supplement or ask questions. So that's kind of why, covering this was important to me for multiple reasons. So first of all, because I've seen dietitians, I've seen health coaches, I've seen health professionals get sucked in to be distributing these things. Like they'll think, oh, this is really something I can do as a side hustle. But again, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Weren't we at a conference and there was Herbalife was there and they were trying to recruit dietitians for that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is a whole nother topic, but like, I think Herbalife was a sponsor at a couple Fences ago. Like, I don't like the thing I don't like is the preying on people, especially the statistics that have come out of they prey on low income minorities. I think, and women especially, which women are minorities. Um, that is something I don't want to support. And that's why, if you're anything like how I believe, I want to support minorities and I don't want to see them lose money. And there are very heavily researched studies that, I mean, I have links that we'll probably put in the show notes. Nobody makes money on these. They are bound to fail. Um, if you are successful in this, you are a minority. Like there's very little margin for success in this. And again, you have that pressure, you have that cost that you have to put out in the front. Again, if you have to rent a space or lease a space to do this, that's another cost that you're not going to make a ton of money on. And a lot of this stuff is overpriced. It's not a cheap thing. It's not something that's easily accessible. You can only get it from these distributors, right? Like or whatever. Like it's not a good investment in what I'm finding. And then, again, the consumer, there's a risk there too. So the claims on the products are not always they're really not evidence-based. They're kind of just like, it has caffeine, so it's going to give you energy. Like there's no science behind it. Again, they're overpriced. They're probably like, you can get a protein powder on Amazon for half the price of what this specific Herbalife or whatever powder you're getting from that company. Sometimes they'll even also then say, well, you have to take this with this. Like you have to support your vitamin C and collagen with protein. So then you have to buy multiple products. And then it's like, well, you might as well get the shaker bottle free with it, but you have to spend this much money. Oh, we'll just add on another supplement. Like there's this tactic to get you to buy more, which is, again, predatory because, I mean, we all do this. How many of us, will put extra stuff in our cart just to get the free shipping? Right? Like it's the same tactic. It's like, well, you might as well do this to get this. Or, if you spend this much money, you get a free product. Or if you get this many people at your party, you get a free product. So
right.
There's always that tactic of getting you to do more by spending more.
And it is so enticing too. I was actually just talking to someone the other day and it was a completely different company. It was kind of like a more local company. But same thing, like, well, you can't just get the fiber, you have to get the probiotic with it, and then you have to get the B vitamins with it, and then you have to get this too. So if you get the whole pack, like you get a better. And I'm just like, but what if you also just ate all foods that contained that? So let's go back to the basics of why were supplements created. They were created for the older adult population initially, and then for those who couldn't get adequate amounts. So we know as dietitians who those are. We know they're vegetarians and vegans. They need typical different supplements because we know adequately their bodies are not going to get enough unless they eat large portions, which then could lead to other concerns. So you might have a supplement for that. The general population and every single day. Now there, of course, I'm going to say like our Northeast area, yeah, vitamin D, most people should be taking a vitamin D. Like that's because of the area we live in, because we don't get the sunshine, because we're not outside as often due to the weather. Like there's reasons for that, but also we can also just check a lab and see if you need it. If you don't need it, why are you wasting money on putting something in your body that actually overconsumption can be toxic, or you're peeing it out? So, like, when the general public hears this, when I'm like saying, you're just peeing out what you're taking in, yeah, but I need it every day. I heard something else I was asking about a different kind of drink at our little cafe at work. And they're like, oh, well, it's to boost your immune system. So if you start feeling sick, and I said, you're supposed to take that before you start feeling sick, because if once you're sick, you're going to be sick. Like, your immunity is not going to get any better as you're sick. You're already damaged. So you need to take it before you get sick. That's the point of making sure you have enough in your diet constantly so you have good immunity to not get sick. So why are we not going back to, okay, what foods am I missing in my diet? And I'll incorporate those. And then if still it's not adequate, then I will take a supplement. And you mentioned the cost then too. Well, do you realize how much you're spending on these supplements and powders and things when you could just buy the foods that most likely are more budget friendly for yourself? So it's very hard to get that message across, especially with stubbornness, or not ready to hear that information, or not wanting to hear it because of marketing, because of buzzwords. They don't want to hear the real true science because they want the quick fix and the buzzwords hit them.
Well, right. I mean, and I think every single episode we've had some sort of theme where this ties in, where it's like, there is no money to be made on just eating food. There is no money to be made on healthy people. So you always have to be treating something, or you have to be sick, or you have to be improving something. And that is rooted in diet culture. So this is threaded throughout everything we do. And the same thing with supplements. There is no money to be made if you just tell people to eat, this kind of food, or do this. And again, like you said, our bodies know what we need and what we don't. And if not, we can get tested for those things. But if you don't need it, like vitamin C, like any water soluble vitamin. So if you are taking vitamin C every day, you are peeing that out, because your body doesn't need probably that much vitamin C.
Oh my God. Vitamin C is one of those things, like, even if you're on an iron supplement, I'm like, do you drink a glass of orange juice? Yeah, I have orange juice, I have this, I have this, I have this. And I'm like, and then I take a vitamin C on top of it. I'm like, you're getting way too much vitamin C.
And you don't need it. Like I said, you're peeing it out. Same thing with, like, just like all these things, like minerals. Like, even people are like taking magnesium supplements, which I know we're going to cover in a whole nother episode one day. Like, you don't need all of these supplements. Now, again, there are people out there that cannot get those nutrients potentially. There are people that maybe they have a low appetite. So that's when we do prescribe. Well, we don't prescribe. We recommend protein shakes. We say maybe have this supplement, whatever. But it's normally because they can't eat enough, or they have a low appetite. Maybe they're sick. Maybe they're not getting enough nutrients. So like somebody with cancer who has nausea, they need more nutrients, but they just can't take it in. Those are the people that supplements started with. And like I said, chances are you don't need a protein supplement. You don't need protein has gotten way too crazy, and I think we're going to cover that in something else, but you don't need all this. And I'm one for the same thing. Like, I do take a couple different supplements, and I'm not saying they're good or bad, but I have seen a difference in some of the things that I do take. Like, I am anemic, so I take an iron supplement. Does that also mean I take 5 different vitamin C supplements? No. Do I take a B12 on occasion? Yes, because I did notice that my energy was low, and I don't think I eat enough of the foods that give you B12. So I was like, I think I need a supplement. And I also take a vitamin D supplement because I am deficient in vitamin D. So, like, there are things that I take, and I also don't have a big appetite during the day because of a medication I take. So that is why I do those things. Do I recommend that to every single person? No. Does everybody need to do that? No. But there's a time and place. And again, if you work with a dietitian, if you work with your doctor, you should have those things covered. But again, if I ate like a normal person and ate like a variety of different foods every day, then yes, I would probably be in better shape for some of those things.
Well, I'm going to put like a small plug in for bariatric surgery too. A lot of people are on supplements afterwards because they can't get enough in their diet. Well, what are we seeing now with the weight loss meds? People aren't eating enough. They are going to what bariatric patients are eating, or those who have had surgery. So we might be seeing more people on supplements due to the weight loss meds. Not a fan of it, but weight loss meds fine. I've had my share of talk about that, but
Yeah.
They work, okay, but we need to nourish the body, and I just think we are getting to a point of we're trying to find the sneaky ways, the cheat ways, to get to nourishing our body through food. Food
Right.
is medicine.
Right. And I think, with that said, like, people like you said, want that quick fix. They don't want to maybe necessarily invest in the food prep, the eating, whatever it is. And but again, that the weight loss meds rooted in diet culture. That's all rooted in you need to be thinner, whatever the case may be. So yeah, let's have you spend more money on supplements and these companies rather than actual food. Like, and that is also predatory in a way. Like yeah, let's spend more money on the supplements and the food.
Again, not to say some people do not need those, and we're not
Right.
recommending that. I just had someone today I talked to who I'm like, yeah, you probably want a protein shake because it's easy, it's quick for you. You need to get your protein in because you're not getting enough. We're not going excessive. You're not getting enough in, and food is not accessible to you at that point in time. So a protein shake's easier.
Right. Or like I said, that is a convenience, and I think that does fill you for a little bit. Like there is a time and place for those things as well, but like you said, I think people just need to do their due diligence and realize, like, why are you doing this? Like if you're trying to do it for like anti-aging properties, that's probably not going to do anything. If you're trying to do it for, you want to look younger, you want to feel younger,
Yeah,
like
you're about 20, 30 years too
yeah,
late.
you're trying to grow your hair, whatever. Like I don't think that's necessarily the case. Chances are most of that can be covered with food. So why waste the money and the energy on getting these supplements than than just eat food. um
And again, for some people, they can't,
well,
or
right,
there's other concerns that they're not eating food. So
right.
again, this is individualized.
Right. I'm
That's where
sorry. I didn't mean
it's
everybody. I
individual.
meant the people
No,
that
you're
like
fine.
have they can absolutely cook a meal or whatever. Like they have access to it. There's no reason. Like I'm thinking like the gym bro in like I don't know, the gym that's like, "Oh, I got to get my protein," and is just like chugging protein all day. And I'm like, "Why? Why you do this?" Like I don't understand. Like or like the girl that's taking like 7 different collagen supplements and like why that none of that is gonna do
Yeah, they're
me.
not even eating food. They're just having protein shake, drinks, collagen, this, that, and
Yeah,
that's how they're getting their
yeah.
nutrition.
Well, and like I think, and again, maybe we'll do this in another episode, but like collagen, it gets digested like before it even can get to your body. Like it doesn't work. But regardless, that's another story. But anyway, that's basically like the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about for this episode was just like why why do we see an increase in multi-level marketing companies? How are we seeing in health and wellness? How to avoid them if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Your prerogative. I'm just here bringing the news that this can be a little deceiving. You may not need it, and if you're looking for a specific, supplement or something, maybe don't get it through Herbalife or Arbonne or whatever. I don't know. Like maybe that's not the best way to go about it. Um,
Talk to a dietitian first.
yeah, yeah. I think you might not even need it. So I don't know. Em, what do you think? Anything else I need to cover in this one?
No, I think that was great. I learned a lot. Obviously certain things that I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So no, I think it was great, great discussion. And I hope the viewers and listeners hope you learned some new things. And again, just bringing that information, the evidence, so you guys can have a clear picture of the health and wellness industry.
Yeah.
So Micki, why don't you go ahead, do your sweet and sours, and then I will go ahead and close this out here with mine.
All right, sounds good. So my sour right now is basically I'm gonna use an Emily one. It's very cold and it's May and I'm not happy about this. I think
Yeah, it's like March, April weather right
yeah.
now.
I'm in a big heavy sweatshirt today. Like I just want to cuddle. Like I don't want to be like I'm in hibernation mode still, and I feel like that's just not my jam. I was feeling more energized with the warmer weather, and now I'm not. So I'm like, oh. But so yeah, that's gonna be my cop out answer today. And then my sweet is I'm I'm officially on like my summer break. Not I don't get a break.
Yay!
I don't get a break. I'm a 12-month, but I am working from home more, which is very nice because I get to spend time with my dog. And when it was nice, I could work outside or I can be a little bit more flexible. And I do like that because I tend to eat a little bit better when I'm home. I tend to like take care of myself a little bit better when I'm home. So I'm more likely to take like little breaks or whatever. So that's been nice for my mental health. I feel a little less stressed right now, which is kind of nice.
Good.
Obviously that's not going to stay, but it's nice to have that extra time for myself in the day and removing the commute and the gas costs. So that's nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because gas is not going down.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll go with my sour first. So, ironically, even though we have a garden, I don't have like the biggest green thumb. Like I do outside, but inside, indoor plants, not my thing. So I bought an indoor plant. I'm not too sure how it's doing. Yesterday it was dry to the bone, so I watered it a little bit extra. And today I'm like, don't know if I should have done that. So we're gonna let it go for quite a few days. I was only watering it once a week. I thought that's all you were supposed to do. I'll have to look up the plant I bought and maybe check.
Don't
So
ask me.
I'm hoping it stays alive.
I don't have a green thumb. I kill everything. So
And then my sweet is I'm not trying to get into the theme, but because it's kind of coming into summertime, hopefully with this weather, but I am very patriotic. So like red, white, and blue themed holidays, I really love them. So I tend to like try and have the foods that are available in those colors, and I'm excited to make some like little Jello, not shots literally, but Jello shooters over the weekend that are red and white. I'm sorry, red and blue. I'm not going to get the white in there this time, but I've got a little idea for the top of it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I enjoy parties as we've talked about. When we host our parties or go to parties, we enjoy putting like charcuterie boards and stuff together. So I haven't done it one in a while, like a party really. So I'm looking forward to it.
oh yeah, that'll be fun. And you do love a theme. I love a theme as well, but you do crush it with the theme like snacks, like that one
That's
party
right.
you had
We
for
had the last one was the golf one. Yes,
yeah.
what during the one golf tournament.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that was super impressive and I enjoyed all the food that was themed in golf. Not that I'm a golf fan, but I just enjoyed the food.
Yeah.
And they were really cute. So yeah, I think you'll crush that.
Yeah, I made the same. The little Jello shooters with the little golf ball and the little flag on top.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so I have fun doing that. Even though it can be stressful, it's like my stress release. That's my artistic side, is more like the cooking and like hosting. I remember in my last job I had, if we had events or things like that, I would love setting up. Even as much as it stressed me out, it was that relief of it looks beautiful. I'm so proud of what I just set up. So I do miss that. So I enjoy doing it at my house.
Nice. Awesome. And yeah, when we're recording this, we will have a long weekend, so that'll be nice too. So I guess that's a
Yeah.
nice week. Or are you working Memorial Day?
No, I'm not. The next weekend. So I have actually a 4-day weekend this weekend.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Well, enjoy the long break. And
Thank
yeah, and you
you.
want to close us out?
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us on the RD Squeeze. As always, we are here. And if you're in the mood for a boost of juice, check out freshly squeezed episodes on Sundays of the RD Squeeze. We will see you next time. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Be sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. We will always take topics you want to hear about, so message us for any topics you want to see covered on the RD Squeeze. Don't forget, it's Dietitian with a T. We'll see you next time on the RD Squeeze.